Hello, everybody. This is Haiku Talk with your host, Ben Ga. It's myself, your friendly neighborhood haiku poet, and welcome to a grainy and rainy episode 3 of this channel. Today we're going to be talking about a poem from the latest issue of World Haiku Review by Frank Dax, with the first line of His Old Winter Coat. Tune in, sit back, and get ready. Let's haiku. Frank Dax's poem goes like this. His old winter coat on a wall hook, still. His old winter coat on a wall hook, still. Very nice. Now this poem does use the fragment and phrase, and it's inverted just like Julie Warther's was in episode 2, where we have the phrase as the first 2 lines and the fragment as the last line. So that fragment is the word still, and the phrase is his old winter coat on a wall hook. So the phrase coming first and the fragment coming second, and you can mix those about any way you want. What's really nice about this one is that last line, the fragment, is just one word, still. And that to me is where all of the tension and all of the wonder of this poem happens. But let's break it down. We'll go into this line by line, just like we did on the first 2 episodes. And so the first line of this poem is, his old winter coat. Now, what's nice about this is we have, I'm already pulled right into the poem with a good, strong image, his old winter coat. We have the introduction of this his, which we don't know who he is, so I'm already intrigued. Who is this person? And it's not just a winter coat, but it's an old winter coat. And we don't know from this poem if this season is winter or not, but we're looking at an old winter coat. Pretty straightforward, pretty good line, and again, I'm hooked to figure out what else is happening in this poem. Because your first line needs to really grip somebody and needs to propel them forward. If you have a bad first line or a middling first line, chances are you're not going to get your reader to want to step further into the moment. But this is a good one, his old winter coat. Now line 2 adds more color to that first line, which is on a wall hook. So his old winter coat on a wall hook. So now we know a couple things. We know what we're looking at. We know where we are. We've established a location that in my mind is likely an interior place, an interior room. As to what room that is, that's up to us, the reader, to figure out, to make up in our heads. And again, that is a classic point of haiku, is that the haiku isn't complete until the reader steps inside the moment and completes the poem. So it's not about the poet's world, it's about the reader's world. And in this poem already, I've been giving a lot as a reader to construct and figure out and place. So his old winter coat on a wall hook. For me, I'm seeing an interior space. I'm sitting in inside a house, and I'm looking over at a wall where there might be a number of coats, and there's one specific one that's hanging there. It's his old winter coat. And I don't really know much about this yet, but I have a scene. I can envision what the coat looks like, as I'm sure anybody out there that's reading this poem along with me can probably describe what that coat looks like, where it's hanging, and what this room looks like in great detail. And that's the trick of haiku. It uses simple, succinct, and suggestive language to take the reader inside to a moment and allow them to, like I said, fill in that space with your own color, with your own life experience. You'll figure out what room this is, what the coat looks like, what an old winter coat looks like. And then we get to that third line. One word. Still. One word. Still. I love it when you see a single line, a single word on a line in a haiku. It excites me because when you pull it off, as Frank does here, it's just exciting. You don't see that in any other real forms of poetry, very often anyway. But in haiku, you can get away with a one-word line. And still, and it adds all sorts of tension. It's all, this is what makes that poem pop. Because what that word does is it implies some things. It implies two things for me. The first is saying that that old winter coat is still on that hook, meaning it hasn't moved. It hasn't been taken away. It hasn't been put away, perhaps, with other winter clothes. And when we think about putting a coat away, why then you go deeper into the story, deeper into the moment of this poem. Why hasn't that coat been put away? Now, the first line says his old winter coat. So the idea that this is an old winter coat that's still on a wall, you could think, well, is his person, is he lazy? Is he, just hasn't gotten around to it, which is quite possible? Or is that person no longer there? What's the relationship between the reader and the word his, and this person that owns the coat? Did that person leave? Is the relationship severed, either due to a breakup, either due to a death? Perhaps this person has passed away, and that old winter coat is still on the wall, or on the wall hook, because nobody's wanted to take it down. Nobody's wanted to move it. Nobody's wanted to touch it. That's one possibility of reading the word still, because it's just still there. The other possibility of that word is that it is the word still, as in not moving. It is static. It is frozen. It is in place. And that too colors the scene, colors the moment. So you have an old winter coat that is still on the wall hook, meaning it is still present there, but it's also not moving. And that to me, in my mind, in my scene, that to me colors this as this person's coat may not be alive anymore. And it is a coat that remains on the wall, but is a coat that doesn't move, won't move, and won't ever move again. It will never be filled with his presence. There are many types of grief, there are many stages of grief, and sometimes you keep things around as a reminder of that person. You don't move it, you just leave it in place. It becomes a touchstone, a thing to remind you of somebody that once was. And those are all good possibilities of how to read this poem. That's certainly where I go. I tend to go to the idea that this person has passed away, and the coat both remains on the wall and is still, and will forever be still. Well, that's a powerful poem. Very short. 9 words. 9 words. Thank you, Frank Dax. This is a nice short issue today. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe to put us in your favorites list, and click the bell to be notified for new postings. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching, and until next time.